Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. You've got a story to share, a message to inspire, and a passion ready to ignite. But where do you start? The world is waiting for your voice. With From Idea to Implementation, Start Your Own Podcast, you'll get the roadmap to turn your vision into reality. This isn't just a course, it's your launching pad. Step by step, we'll break down the process from defining your purpose to recording your first episode so you can finally share your voice with confidence. Stop overthinking it and start doing it. Your voice has the power to connect and lead. Are you ready to use it? Join the waitlist today. Your podcast journey starts now. The world is waiting. You can find the link to sign up for the waitlist in the show notes. We'll see you soon. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Wendy Paige Sterling. She is an intuitive leadership mentor for visionary disruptors, a two-time international best-selling author, a speaker, and a podcast host. Welcome, Wendy. I am so excited to have you here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
I am doing awesome, and I cannot wait to jump in and to share all of the beautiful light you put out into the world through all the work you're doing, a little bit about your story and your journey. So with that being said, let us jump right in. I want to start off by saying I love that you use the term mentor as opposed to the typical or common term of coach. And I have to ask, why have you decided not to use the term coach? And was this done intentionally? And if so, why?
Yeah, great question. And it was 100% done intentionally. I mean, let's be
I
real.
figured.
I don't do anything without
Yes.
intention behind it, Brad.
Yeah.
To be honest, the word mentor carries a completely different vibration and frequency for me than the word coach does. And that is because the vibration that comes or that I feel calling myself a mentor, it feels aligned with a frequency of collaboration and one where I am holding my clients' hands in guiding them. And I always say, I'm not a therapist. And in my perspective, therapists and coaches are here to actually give advice. And that's not what I do. I am here to essentially help my clients to shine a light and ignite a power within themselves that already exists. So for me, calling myself a mentor, I'm able to support them because I've walked the path already. And I'm there to really help them figure out how best to illuminate their own. So it's really about guiding and mentoring my clients so that they know how to lead themselves intuitively versus relying on external sources.
I love that. I actually had a guest similar. She used the word mentor as well. And she was saying that she compares it to, because she played soccer as a kid growing up. She said the difference in her mind is a coach is standing on the sidelines telling you what to do or yelling at you what to do on the field, whereas a mentor is on the field playing right beside you as a teammate, helping you get the goal, helping you get the ball in the back of the net. So I love that. I love your definition. Awesome. So I would love to know what you're doing for a living in your previous life before making the jump into the world of entrepreneurship. And what was the catalyst for that for you?
Yeah, it's untraditional. That's for damn sure. So before I became an entrepreneur, I had spent 20 years in corporate America, climbing the corporate ladder like many of us do. I started my career in the media industry, working for a media agency. And slowly evolved and progressed in my career when the whole .com, the URL thing happened. That's the dinosaur that I am to all of your listeners. Yes, I was around when the .com era began and the digital space literally began. And I transitioned out of agency world into actually ad sales and eventually into the .com world selling digital. And just fell in love with it. I loved how it was always changing, ever evolving. But more importantly, what I really actually came to realize that I loved doing in my corporate career was I was actually an entrepreneur. Because I was in ad sales, I would be brought in and build multi-million-dollar regions for companies. And I prided myself on my ability to create and develop and nurture relationship with my clients and also with my internal teams. And I fell in love with that process. And I thought that had to be done or could only be done in corporate. And I nurtured that and continued to evolve my career and worked myself up the ranks until I started to kind of realize that I was good at what I did, but I didn't really love what I did. I was fascinated by the digital world. Aside from selling.com, I was also selling integrations. I called on all the beauty brands, automotive companies, and really just I started to when the whole influencer space, YouTube blew up with how-to videos. I was in the middle of all of that and experiential, creating experiences with consumers. And I started really seeing the creative side of my brain and how I really loved being a part of the ideation process and helping to bring things to life, nurturing my team in that process, listening to clients, communicating. And I was starting to, it's so sad, Brad. I started to age myself out in my 40s out of digital because there was all these young millennials coming in and could work for cheaper. And my passion for what I did kind of started waning. And you asked what the shift was to entrepreneurship and why I said it was untraditional is because it really was. It was about 8 years ago where the entire foundation of my life came out from underneath me. And that was when I discovered that my now ex-husband was having an affair. And it was a moment where my intuition, I mean, talk about a nudge like no other. And it was one of those nudges that said, wake up. Like you have fallen asleep at the wheel, Wendy. Like, when did you stop living life for yourself? It is time to live. It is time for you to take back the wheel and be the driver. And it was in that moment that I really started focusing on what it was that I wanted. I think so many women, especially women in corporate, start seeking external validation. You want to know that other people are seeing you and your accomplishments. And I had, at a very young age, started that dynamic. I brought it into corporate. I brought it into my marriage. And this wake up call, this shift moment was really all about, it was time for me to stand up for myself. And just because I was good at something didn't mean that it was like my passion. It didn't mean that it was what I wanted to give up watching my children grow up because I'm traveling on the road or entertaining clients. And it really, I discovered the world of life coaching during that first year, kind of this self-discovery of Wendy, and fell in love with this concept of, oh, wait, I can think about what I actually want in the future instead of reminiscing about all the things that I did wrong, or where did I go wrong, or what did I miss, or how did I get here? And it was this concept of visioning that really woke me up. And it was during that process of not only becoming certified as a life coach, but also hiring a coach. Yes, I used those terms back in the day, but ultimately what that taught me was that I was so much more than an ad sales executive, that I was actually an entrepreneur. I was a visionary, and I had always been a disruptor in everything that I had done. Like, I was at the forefront of the digital space every step. Like, when something new broke, I was in it. When clients were trying something new, I was in it. Like, I've always been in this space. And so that shift in my marriage ending, the shift in me discovering that I'm actually an entrepreneur, all culminated in literally asking for a divorce and quitting my corporate career, quitting my corporate job, and launching my first entrepreneurial coaching business. And so ultimately, that betrayal led to my biggest breakthrough, which was ultimately discovering my voice, embracing my intuition, and finally aligning my life with my passion and my truth.
Holy shit. Talk about burning shit down to the fucking foundation and then rebuilding a phoenix rising from the ashes. Like everything, your relationship, your career crashing and then rebuilding out of that. That is incredibly powerful. And wow, thank you for sharing that. That's huge, huge.
Yeah, you're welcome. That metaphor resonates for me, the phoenix rising. Yeah.
I think it's incredible. And it's incredible resilience and courage too, I believe. Yes. Having gone through that and then taking the steps to step into the unknown. We know entrepreneurship is so scary. Mm-hmm. There's so many unknowns. So to be able to go through what you went through, have everything come crumbling down and then rebuild in that entrepreneurial space speaks a lot about who you are as a person. So
thank you.
Kudos to you for doing that.
Thank
for sure.
You. Appreciate that.
What would you say drives, motivates, and inspires you to keep going and excelling at all that you do?
Oh, gosh, that's a great question. I really think that it is the impact, or as I call it, sort of like the ripple effect of what it is that I am here to create. I believe that I am a soul having a human experience. I believe that I am here for such a bigger mission, right? Like my divorce happened for me. Everything happens for us. That has always been my mentality. And I should say that became my mentality after my divorce. And I started to really understand and realize God actually wants good for me. God doesn't do things to me. God is working with me. And so I feel so privileged to be able to work with the clients that I do and to witness these amazing humans, really souls, waking up and creating additional ripples that impact their people, right? Their family, their team, their community. And for me, it has always been a much, much deeper soul calling. And I know that deep down, the impact that I am creating, the way that I'm helping women and some men as well. I do have male clients, but predominantly women, but I'm helping my clients to really remember. It's not that you're lost and that you're forgotten. It's really about remembering, right? Remembering who you are, remembering your worth, helping to not only, or to see that when you shift your own consciousness, there's a ripple effect that happens across the world. Mm-hmm. I will also say that my boys are huge motivators for me. Really, they are my world. I mean, they keep my heart beating in the way that I can't even describe. I mean, they've told me how much they admire me and they've watched me really evolve. And they're also my greatest source of inspiration on a daily basis. So
I love it. I love that you mentioned the remembering. It's not that you don't have those things within you or that we don't have those things. It's like you think about our intuition. We're all born with intuition.
Yes.
I think that it gets tamped down within us. It gets conditioned so far down that we forget it's there, but it's always there. We have just forgotten. And it's a matter of remembering that it's there and remembering and figuring out how to tap into it and utilize it.
Sure. Exactly. And I think that, I don't know, it kind of bothers me when I hear certain words now, because to me, it's not that you don't possess it anymore.
Yeah.
It's really about just learning how to get back in touch with it based on everything that you've been through, everything that you've experienced, and seeing it as an opportunity instead of a loss.
Yes. That speaks to the whole mindset thing that you briefly mentioned about things are happening for you. They're not happening to you. It's just that tiny little tweak or shift in languaging for ourselves that can change everything.
Yes. And it does. I mean, the energy behind it, the power that comes with
the intent,
the intention, the word of the day.
Yes, absolutely. So how then would you say have all of these experiences that have culminated for you helped shape the Wendy you are today, both personally and professionally?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much more I haven't even shared of what I've experienced. Probably the second most profound was losing my mom to cancer. And those people who know me know a little bit about my story, but I'll briefly just share that the day that I decided I wanted to file for divorce, that afternoon, my mother was diagnosed with ovarian cancer.
Oof.
And so she and I were walking this interesting parallel path together of just really seeing the vision and the life that we both thought we were going to have come crashing down around us, and both of us really navigating from a deep faith and sense of courage to just create what it gets to look like for however long. And so the Wendy that you see, that my clients see, that my kids see today is really a version of me that has, you use the Phoenix Rising, and that does resonate with me deeply because I am a version of me that has risen through the ashes, and the ashes have been a part of my ability to really rebirth and be able to transmute this amazing life that I have from loss and from trauma and from grief. And every challenge that I have ever experienced over the course of the last 4 decades of my life has really taught me, you said the word resilience, but it really has. It's taught me resilience. It's taught me a deeper level of trust. It has taught me a deeper level of faith. And how beautiful it is when you ultimately fully surrender to God and to the universe. I know we were talking about this before we hit record,
There's
right?
that word.
And so what that has created for me is really, I find myself way more grounded. I've seen my level of compassion and grace for myself increase dramatically. And I don't play by people's rules anymore. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of joining other people's tables. I don't do that anymore either.
Fuck that. I'm building my own table.
Exactly. That's kind of my attitude. Welcome to Wendy's world. I'm going to build my own table, and I'm going to invite the women who want to do that for themselves. And those are the only seats available at my table. Yeah. And so I have, for the last 8 years, I've really, every decision, every belief, every thought, everything I have created has come from a surrender of my intuition, which for me, that is how I communicate with God. And I teach my clients to do the same, because ultimately that's where the true abundance and fulfillment, meaning live.
That is so powerful and incredible. It takes a lot to surrender. It takes a lot of self-awareness. It takes a lot of inner strength, and trusting and allowing is huge with that. And that's a learned skill set to be able to do that. It takes a lot of practice. Yeah.
And again, I don't want people to think like I woke up one day and here I am, this transformed being, right? It's practice every day. And it starts with small. It starts with the small. It's not always about the big. I mean, and there are moments where I'm like, oh crap, here I am trying to control again. Okay, Wendy, the level of awareness. I was talking to somebody the other day and they were asking me, how do I practice this? And I'm like, it literally starts with just an awareness.
Yeah.
You don't have to succeed at it all. It's really just about having a mindfulness practice where you slow down and you acknowledge, oh crap, there I go again. Okay, now I can pivot and reshift.
Yeah.
And we can all shift and change the trajectory of our being and our life at any given moment, but we just choose to go down the judgment rabbit hole instead. And then we get stuck there, and we forget that we have the power to get ourselves out of it.
And we are the only ones that have the power to get ourselves out of it. No one else is going to save you. No one is going to be your fucking superhero. You have to be your own superhero and do it yourself. Yes, support around us, 100% support systems are so important and necessary. But in terms of doing the actual work, you're the only one that can do it.
Yes, 100%.
So you talk about how you integrate a spiritual awakening and heart-centered approach when you're working with your clients. I'm going to assume here that you have tapped into and had your own multiple spiritual awakenings, I'm sure. Can you talk a little bit about your own first personal spiritual awakening, and how has it helped you shift your approach to work and your personal life?
Oh, yeah. So, gosh. So there's 2 spiritual awakenings that I'll talk about. And the first one I didn't know about until I started training as an advanced Theta Healer. So I'll start with my first memory as a child that I've always known. When I was in elementary school, I remember coming home and telling my mom about a, a, what she called an imaginary friend that sat with me on the school bench. And it was a man. And my mother's like spidey senses went nuts because I went to an all-girls school. So she's, and I didn't have a male teacher. And so she's, man, like, what is going on here? And I remember having this conversation with this being. And I remember coming home and telling my mom all about it. And my mother told me it was an imaginary friend. Fast forward, and I'm in my advanced Theta Healing training, which is an energy modality where I go and I connect, and it's a meditative state that I go into. And this memory comes flooding back to me. And the woman who I am training with, she actually saw the encounter. She named the guide who was with me, whose name I knew. I hadn't shared any of that with her. And she basically confirmed that ever since I was a little girl, I have always had the ability to connect with, and I have been very much guided by my spirit guides. And because I am the granddaughter of Holocaust survivors on two sides of my family, did not understand me. They did not understand this side of me. And we were very much, my grandparents especially, really wanted us to fit in here in America, right?
Yeah.
They wanted me to, I was anything but a traditional little girl. I never sat still. I was the tomboy. I loved sports. I was in the dirt. I was always running around and playing, and they didn't understand. Sit, stop having a different opinion, just smile, be the pretty little girl that you are. And I was like, what are you talking about? I got silenced very early on in my life and disconnected from my ability to trust my intuition. And yet the reconnection happened when my divorce that night, where I was like, okay, like he's having an affair. Something is not right here with this colleague of his.
Yeah.
And the other piece that came through was when I was 3 years old, I remember having a very vivid memory of, I was really sick. I had a really high fever. And the perspective that I had of I remember my parents taking my sister and dropping her off at my grandparents' house. I don't think I've ever shared this story, Brad. This is like a first time. So I remember being in my dad's arms. I remember taking my sister to my grandparents' house. And the perspective that I have of that moment is actually from out of my body.
Wow.
I don't have the perspective of being in my dad's arms and looking over his shoulder. I literally can see me in my dad's arms and my sister down below and my grandmother. And it came to me when I was doing, again, my Theta Healing training, and I left my body. I actually died when I was 3. And I remember being told to go back. And it was my sister who actually called me back in to my body in that moment. So I have always had this, and I just, again, it was one of those, it was forgotten. And so once it woke up, the signs just kept coming and coming, right? Through my divorce, through my mom passing away. Also, I was in Lahaina during the fires. Signs were coming in before, during, and after that event. And these were all just wake up calls to what it is that I've always known. And it's something that I protected for quite some time, even when I jumped into, I first started divorce coaching. And now I really coach visionary disruptors and stepping into their leadership. However, it really, the clients that I tend to attract are like me. So they're people who are spiritually curious and know that they have they know that they have some ability, but they don't know how to fully step in. They don't know how to fully surrender. And so I help them to understand that it's in the moments of pause, it's in the moments of silence where you're able to really go deep, to connect, and to really lean in, surrender, and trust that voice, that intuition, to allow yourself to fully awaken. And so my private clients have always known this about me. I mean, I get downloads, I see visions, I hear, I have all the clairs. I'm able to tap into all of that for my clients, and I teach them how to be able to do that for themselves and to pay attention to what their signals on. And so that awakening that I had when I was a little girl, it's now all fully back and it's tapped into, and you have to practice it. It's like when you work out, you go to the gym, your muscles aren't going to be muscles forever. It's the same thing. And so really also it's important that it's not just like you're spiritually awake and it's okay, I'm done, check a box.
No.
It's an everyday practice.
Yeah.
It's an everyday connection to God. It's an everyday connection to my guides, my mom who's on the other side. And so it's in these moments that I'm really able to stay awake because that's how I choose to live. And my clients desire the same.
It's much better being awake, isn't it?
Oh my God. So much better. And it's so interesting because once you are, you can't go back.
No, you can't unring that bell.
It's not that you want to, but you start seeing how asleep everybody else in your life is. And you just are like, God, you're missing out. Like you want the same for them.
Come on, get on the bus. There's room for you. Everybody. There's always an extra seat. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
there's never, it's infinite.
There's more than enough room. Absolutely. Exactly. I want to say, first of all, thank you so much for sharing your vulnerability and for sharing that with me here today. It means a lot that you felt comfortable enough to be so vulnerable to share that part of your life. So thank you for that. That means more than you know to me. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course.
So this is a great segue into, you call yourself an intuitive leadership mentor for visionary disruptors. And I love that term, visionary disruptors. What role does intuition play in effective leadership, especially when you're talking about making high stakes decisions? And how do you define a visionary disruptor?
Yeah, that's me. It's everyone like me. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Super small digression, but I had this like massive brainstorm last week. And my partner, Jeff, walked into my office because he was like, what have you been doing? And he like read all the stuff that I had brainstormed. He read it and he's, isn't this you? Like, this is you. And I'm like, exactly, it's me. Like we attract our ideal clients, everybody. Yeah. That's the secret. But ultimately, your intuition is everything. And it is that calm, that quiet voice within you that is actually speaking the truth when everything else is that loud screaming voice is telling you, no, status quo is so where it's at. Stay here.
Stay safe.
Yes. And it's comfortable. I mean, status quo is, I know it. I may not like it, but I know it. And that's ego. And your intuition is that space where it's unfamiliar and it's a little scary and it's a growth opportunity and it's calm and it's got this ease and this flow to it that you're just like, wait, what is that possible there? Versus stop what you're doing, stay where you are.
Yeah.
And I love the word visionary disruptor because what that means to me is those are high achievers who lead with that knowing. They're not afraid to lean into the silent voice or the silence and the voice that's speaking the whisper, right? They're not afraid to make bold, uncomfortable decisions because they trust that voice is the voice that is connected to that higher power, guiding them in their highest and best way. And so when high stakes decisions arise, those who lead intuitively are actually the ones who stay grounded and aligned with their bigger mission. And it's when you give into the noise and you give into the anxiety and the loud and the chaotic that you're actually making what I would call the wrong choice. It's the safe choice. But that's not what leaders do. Leaders are not here to play it safe. Leaders are here to disrupt. They are here to shift. They are here to inspire others to be and do the same. And that requires a very deep level of commitment to your vision, and that resides in your intuition.
Love it. Thank you for that. So do you see then a unique connection between feminine energy and intuitive leadership? And how do you nurture that connection in women leaders that you work with?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no deeper connection. I'm an A-type, totally lead in my masculine. And so my biggest growth has been leaning into feminine energy. And this is really the space where your intuition lives, right? I'm not talking sex of people. I'm talking like feminine energy is that nurturing space. It is the space where you receive. It is the space where your intuition lives. And it's an energy that really allows us to be and to feel our way forward rather than being in the doing energy and forcing it. And so I help my clients to really nurture this connection by helping them to reconnect back in with their bodies, with sensations, with their emotions that are connected to that inner voice. And that can only happen in moments where you're willing to get still. And so when you lean in and trust your feminine, you trust your intuition, you're leaning into the feminine energy within you. That is where you lead with your heart. That's where the flow exists. And that's how you create the ripple effect in your life and with the people in your life to really create whatever it is that you desire in life or in business.
Yeah.
So I hope that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, as you said, it's a matter of reminding the women that you work with that it's already there. We just need to tap into it and utilize it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So how do you encourage leaders to embrace their vulnerability as a strength rather than a weakness in their leadership journey?
Yeah, I mean, my God, being vulnerable is hard, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It really
I
is.
talk about ripping all your clothes off in front of a very packed room. That's how it used to feel. And here's the thing. Vulnerability and the times that we get vulnerable, it's not something that you reveal to everybody, right?
No.
This isn't like everyone in the world gets to know everything about me and where I'm at. It's really about seeing your vulnerability as actually one of the tools in your leadership toolbox. And I think that in a lot of cases, it becomes your most powerful tool. And I believe that because it creates connection, it creates trust. It's what builds trust. And it's really the place where you're able to come from the most authentic version of yourself. And so part of us showing up vulnerably means that you show up as every part of yourself. So that means standing in the power of your successes. It means standing in the learnings of your failures. It means standing in the acknowledgement of your fears. And when you do that, you're actually giving others the permission to go there too.
Absolutely.
And so when we show up vulnerably, we're inspiring connection and we're creating this new level of innovation and evolution that no other emotion, in my opinion, can create.
I would agree. Vulnerability leads to relatability, which leads to connection. That's it. That's what it's all about. And I think that things need to change in the boardroom in terms of all of that, emotions, vulnerability. There's nothing wrong with showing that stuff. It's been, again, programmed for so long that no, the boardroom is not a place for emotions. It's not a place for vulnerability. Put on your big boy pants and that's it. Let's go. But it doesn't have to be that way. The world is changing. People are changing. People are realizing, people are waking up and realizing that things don't have to be done the way they've been done for so long. And it's refreshing to see.
Yeah. And I mean, let's be honest, like it can't be done the same anymore.
No.
I mean, we're in a whole new level of consciousness in this world. It can't be done the same. And there's this evolution is always happening. So you're either on the train or you're not.
Yeah. Get on board or you're getting left behind. See you later.
Exactly.
But there is enough room for everybody, though. There really is. You just have to step up and step on to the train.
Yeah.
So how do you differentiate then between intuition and instinct? And how does that distinction play a role in the way that you mentor your leaders?
Yeah. Okay. So here's how this is how I see it, right? This is my definition, guys. You guys can have your own, but
this one's mine.
This is my definition. I love definitions too, because I feel like it enables us to kind of see where everybody's coming from. So your intuition, as I've said, it's this like deep inner knowing. It's this soul level like wisdom. It is ingrained. It is like branded within you. Instinct, on the other hand, I feel that as more reactive, and it typically comes from fear, and it's almost rooted in a survival tactic. So my intuition is, I know exactly what the sound is. I know the frequency of it. I know how it feels in my body when my intuition is speaking to me, because it comes in just with this firm, patient knowing. And when my instinct kicks in, it is shouting at me.
Right.
Now, there are moments where you should listen to your instincts. You're in the woods. There's a bear. Listen to. So they both serve in different circumstances. However, in the work that I specifically do, I help my clients to discern for themselves between the two for them. So when you lead with your intuition, you're engaging in a decision-making process that is deeply aligned with your path, with your soul's path, with God's path for you, versus when you lead from instinct, it typically comes with a short-term game, but there's no long-term plan. So intuition is really the long game and instinct is the short game.
Beautifully explained. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Now, can you share maybe a couple of specific practices or tools that you use to help leaders strengthen their intuitive abilities?
Yeah, I get asked this all the time. And honestly, it has one common denominator, and then you guys get to figure out how it best serves you, right? If you do not create moments of pause, moments of silence, you will never hear your intuition. You will never know what it sounds or feels like. So whatever it is that you are committing to in creating pause and silence is create that for yourself and then engage in an activity, right? Maybe it's a walk in nature. Maybe it's meditating if that's your jam. Maybe it's during yoga. Maybe it's through journaling. I connect, you guys, I connect with my intuition on the treadmill or in the shower. No joke. Like random moments, right? But moments where I am creating space for myself to just be with myself.
Yeah.
So it's about creating space to silence the outside world and to get connected to what's inside. Like even my mind starts going a million miles a minute. I have to train myself to silence my mind.
Yeah.
But I don't silence it in judgment. I silence it in, okay, brain, let's vomit out what you need to tell me right now so that I can get silent. And so a lot of the work that I do for myself and what I teach my clients in how to engage with the silence comes through a lot of the Theta healing work that I do. I'll also integrate in, I have sound bowls. I'm a sound healer as well. So sometimes I'll send recordings to my clients with a sound bath that really helps. I mean, that is like one of the fastest ways that I'm able to silence my head is just to pull out my sound bowls and start playing them. Okay. So maybe there's a YouTube video, right, that you guys want to listen to. I mean, I have free meditations that I give out to my clients and my email list. And I've recorded sound baths, like anything that gets you in a space where you can work through the chatter and get yourself to a silent spot.
The power really is in the pause, for sure.
That's why I named my podcast that. But yeah, it really is.
Exactly.
It is.
How do you mentor leaders who are resistant or skeptical of intuition, especially in male-dominated industries?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't attract someone in full transparency. If people are resistant or skeptical, I'm not your person. However, what I can relate to is I do have clients who work in very male-dominated industries. And ultimately, what I believe is sort of the secret sauce in how to navigate that is to come from a lens of curiosity. And what I have seen and what I know is that when people are in resistance, it's
Yeah.
coming from a place of fear. And it's a fear of the unknown, because the unknown is a place where you don't have control. And so for those of us who come from male-dominated industries, it does become a lot more challenging because you've been conditioned to rely on structure and analyzing and logic and a very analytical foundation. And so part of this is embracing that intuition isn't what you would term right. It's another, I see it as another form of intelligence. Like it's another form of data. And so if you are able to start integrating small ways to tap into your intuition, right? Like taking a moment to pause before you're making a decision or responding to an email or about to speak up in a meeting, kind of start playing with the pause in those moments and see what comes up for you, and start engaging with your inner knowing in those safer, smaller moments. Because once you start seeing the results and you experience the results, like you're never going to go back. That's just how this happens. Like
again, you're
can't
never going to go
back.
Bell.
What?
You can't unring that bell.
No, you can't. You can't go back.
Yeah.
That's what we were saying before. I'm like, you can't go back. Like
exactly.
I can't go back. So
you can't unsee the shit. That's
correct.
All. Once you've seen it, your eyes are opened and that's it.
Yes.
I love it. What advice would you give then to women in leadership who are struggling to assert their intuitive voice in male-dominated spaces?
This is where the visionary disruptors come in, Brad. Listen, so many of us, I mean, my voice was silenced so far long ago, and I started speaking through a voice of what I thought other people wanted me to be and say. I did that in corporate as well for 2 decades. And I think what I would say, and what I would even tell like my younger self, is your voice always matters. And there's a reason you're in the room. I always used to, and that's a confidence piece, and that's a lot of the work that I do work on with clients. And so I would really encourage women leaders to anchor themselves in their worth, right? Worth in their voice, worth in being in the room, and not be afraid to speak up. This is why I build my own tables, because I want to invite people in to my tables so that I am heard, but it doesn't mean that you can't create your own table within someone else's. And so it's not about forcing your intuition to be heard. It's not about raising your voice, which I thought was how you are heard in life. Like, no joke. That's what I thought. Raise your voice, they'll hear you. Actually, no, Wendy, it's the energy that's in it. And so when you are showing up fully in alignment with your truth, like that's when people start to notice, because there's a different frequency, there's a different energy associated with that. And that's what gets people to follow, right? Attracts. So when we see ourselves shrinking to fit in, that's your sign of, wait a second, I should be expanding, right? I should be expanding, because leadership happens in the expansion, and your intuition is what guides you there. So trust that you are there for a reason, and that whatever it is that you have to say, it is a vital piece to the puzzle of what is next.
Beautiful. Powerful. I love that. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
In your opinion, how can female leaders leverage their intuition to create more inclusive, empathetic, and successful teams?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think as women, we have an easier time connecting with our empathy. And so it becomes I believe, a more innate way for us to be able to lead. And when we lead with empathy, it's really what breeds and creates connection. And to me, those 2 elements are the foundation for inclusivity. So when we tune into our intuition, we're really enabling or really creating spaces where everybody who comes in gets to feel seen, heard, and valued. And so your intuition is really what is going to allow you to feel into the room, what is not being said, to sense when things feel a little bit off in a room, and to take action before things escalate, right? Like, how many times do you walk into a room and you can feel the energy, or how many times are you in a room and all of a sudden you feel the energy shift? And I think our default, right, the status quo is to go into, I don't want to be like, I tune out, like I'm out. I don't want to be involved. I don't want to get, I don't want to stir a pot. There's a pot being stirred. But here's the thing is that if you really are truly in your leadership, you are going to be a stand for that energy in the room and let your intuition guide you in that moment to bring the room back to an energy level in the room where everybody is back at the same level, right? Where everybody feels empowered and where everybody feels comfortable contributing.
What do you think the future of leadership looks like when intuition is embraced as a core leadership skill?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be the moment in time where leadership will, I think it'll be the time when we stop equating like emotional, let me say it this way. Everyone always says not bringing emotion into business, but it's like business isn't emotional. And you're right. It is, you shouldn't lead with emotion in decisions. However, there are emotional qualities required to stand in your leadership that your intuition is required as a core skill to really evoke in your team. So leadership will lead with compassion, which isn't a bad word. It isn't a bad thing to have. It's going to also breed connectivity. It is going to enable you to actually have a greater impact, right? I think we're starting to learn that it's not just about bottom lines anymore. And this is coming from someone who worked in ad sales. I was judged by a number every freaking day. Another example, I remember I started at a new company. I brought in one of my biggest clients. I did an upfront deal with them for $1 million. Okay. $1 million. And my CRO came up to me and she goes, why wasn't it 2? Literally, not thank you. Why wasn't it 2 million? Yeah. Welcome to why I left ad sales. So what leaders, I believe a lot of executive management doesn't understand is that it's about leading from a bigger picture. It is about creating purpose-driven success and defining what that looks like from a collective whole and a collective vision, because that is what is going to breed sustainability. So to me, intuition is what bridges the gap between strategy and soul. And that's really going to allow your teams to show up in a way that is going to enable you to innovate in ways that you never knew possible before. I really see a future where leaders are no longer afraid to trust themselves and are willing to put themselves out there to inspire others to do the same. And that's ultimately the type of client that I attract, because that's the type of leader I am.
That's the people you want to work with, those types of people, leading from a heart-centered space and not afraid to show the vulnerability and be authentic, and all of these things, they're all part of it.
Yes.
So I want to talk a little bit now. As I mentioned off the top, you are a 2-time best-selling author. I would love for you to speak a little bit about the books that you wrote or participated in, and can you tell us a little bit about them and what that was like for you, sharing and writing your story and putting it out there for the world to read?
Yeah. So my first book, that's funny. I've been a part of 3. I don't even talk about the first one. Isn't that funny? It just hit me. I was a contributing author in a book that I wrote a chapter on It's Okay to Not Be Okay. But then my own book that I wrote is called Divorce Sucks, Now What? And it's interesting because I started writing the book and hired a coach to write the book with me right before my mom took her big downfall. And I was in the middle of starting to write it. And then when my mom got sick, I tried to keep going, but I just didn't have the steam in me to do it. And so I focused on my mom and I literally put it away for almost a year. I couldn't get myself back into it. And when I was ready, I was in a completely different place. I wanted the book to look and be different. I had already written a bunch of chapters that I literally had to thank God for the new book coach that I had hired, because she kind of was able to see what we could take and rework. Yeah. And I ended up working with her and I went to Sedona. I wrote the book in 5 days.
Holy shit.
And it was so fast because any of you have ever been to Sedona, the energy there, the vortexes. I wrote chapters sitting at the vortexes. I connected with my mom. My mom helped me to finish writing it. I talk a lot about my story, about my mom. And I also taught in the book, I teach my 5-step rehab methodology around how to heal from your divorce. But ultimately, what the book really educated people on is the sort of the metamorphosis process that we go through when we experience life transition, and understanding that things happen for us, not to us, is ultimately what really the big lesson of my book is. And I share a lot of my story and not just the methodology behind how it is that people can recover more quickly. And then I'm also part of another book that I contributed based on my trip to Egypt that I took about 2 years ago. And it was the first trip I took after my mom passed away. And it was the trip that I took that reminded me, it started reminding me of the higher purpose that I was here to serve, that it wasn't just about me serving divorcees, that it was really a much deeper, bigger vision that I was to bring out into the world and to really show people, like to give people this permission to really step into all of who they are. And it's okay to lead with spirituality and business. It's okay. That's called your intuition, and to not be afraid to do that. And so I talk in my story, just the different experiences that I had at different very spiritual sites across, Egypt, where I had these moments of epiphanies and awakenings that really enabled me to fully step in. And ultimately, that was the beginning of my transition out of divorce specific coaching and into this new line of work that I'm in now.
Another rising from the ashes.
Yes.
Holy shit.
I know. It literally has been one thing after another. Like the signs have been rampant for me for years. And yeah, it's even when I'm like, oh, is this a sign? I'm like, oh yeah, duh, of course it's a sign.
And you're still here kicking ass, taking names and building tables.
Yes.
I love it.
I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere.
Amazing. Now, you briefly mentioned you have a podcast. I mentioned it off the top. You are the host of a podcast. Can you share with us a bit about the podcast? Is it interview style, solo episodes, a combination of the two? And what was the inspiration for you in starting the podcast?
Yeah. When I shifted my business, I have a divorce podcast. It's called The Divorce Woman's Guide. It's still out there. So if those of you who are going through divorce, and I have 3 years worth of content where I released an episode every day. So feel free to binge that. But ultimately, I knew that there was something else in me. There was a new podcast to be birthed. And I remember I was actually talking to one of my friends who was also a former client of mine. And she's, Wendy, you always talk about the power in the pause. And I was like, you're right, I do. And then I was like, oh my God, that's the name of my podcast. So a year ago, I birthed my new podcast, which is called The Power in the Pause. And it is a mix of solo episodes, which are short. So short as in like 10 to 12 minutes.
Right.
And then I also have interviews with guests that I'm inspired by, and I know that my listeners will be as well. Those are closer to about 25 to 30 minutes. And those guests come on and share with us how the pause has supported them in their life in stepping into their power, and how that's enabled them to really grow either their life or their business. And so ultimately, the podcast is really all about helping and inspiring those of you that are high achievers, high achieving leaders, to embrace the stillness, because that's where your intuition lives. That is where you build your self-trust. And so the inspiration really came from my own experience of how the acceleration and the breakthroughs come in the slowdowns and when we actually start listening. So I really wanted to create a space for others to hear how others are utilizing this to their advantage, and to embrace the vulnerability and the courage it takes to have those moments, and to just know that you're not alone. We all go through it and we all struggle with the pause, but man, what happens when we're in it is freaking awesome.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. It is so powerful in so many different ways. And like you said, you've mentioned many times throughout the course of our chat today about just sitting in stillness and what that allows you to do and to go through and to feel. And instead of pushing everything away, sit with it, let it wash over you, take it in and think about it. Spend the time. Love it. What do you think your unique skill set is or superpower that has helped you become successful?
Great question. And this was actually reflected back to me not very long ago as a confirmation of what I know my superpower is. And honestly, my superpower is my ability to really see people. It's not about seeing people for who they are on the surface, but I actually see who people are at their core. So I have a very deep intuitive knowing that allows me to feel into the energy of others and to be able to guide them into their highest potential. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, the way that it sort of unfolds is I basically see like a blueprint, or if you want to call it a roadmap of their soul. And I help them to clear what I identify as the blocks that are holding them back from truly living out their purpose. So by combining my intuitive gift with actual steps, I'm able to really help my clients to create the shifts that they truly desire. And while I know they can do it themselves, it's going to take a lot longer. So I essentially help them to accelerate that process. And I would say sort of number 2 superpower is just I am a disruptor. I love disrupting the status quo, and I'm able to help my clients really see the power in being able to do that. And I mean, at the end of the day, I've never been one to follow the rules if they don't align with my truth. So
why stay comfortable? What fun is that?
It's not fun.
That. No, exactly.
I mean, it's just not.
No.
We have one life, guys.
That's right.
This is it. Make the best of it. There's no do-overs.
No, absolutely. Just live it to the fullest. Do what makes your heart sing. Do what makes your soul sing. No excuses. Make it happen. Yeah. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
Speaking of success, how do you define that word? What does success mean to you?
Oh, I feel like there's such a polarity on that word. And for me, it's really about, I probably prefer the word, like, to me, it's about meaning, right? It's about alignment with my purpose, my soul's purpose. And so for me, it's making sure that I am waking up each and every day in a place where I feel fulfilled, where I feel like I am not only gifting meaning for others, but knowing that I am receiving that as well. I want to make sure that every day I feel like I'm making an impact. I think a lot of us grew up thinking that success comes with titles or how much money we have in our bank account or promotions, accolades. And I used to think that. Yeah, sure. And it feels great. Okay, you want to give me some money and, give me a raise and a promotion? Okay, that sounds great. But is that really success? So what I think I've learned over the course of my corporate and entrepreneurial career has really been that my true meaning of what I would call success is living a life that lights me up and inspires others to really do the same. It's creating that ripple effect. If I can go to bed every night knowing that I've made a difference in somebody else's life, like that is success to me. So that's how I would define it.
Love it. What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before you learned it? And what was your life like after learning it?
I feel like I'm always learning, Brad.
Yes, we all are. Absolutely.
Oh, gosh.
That's why I say one of the most important things, not the. That would be too hard to determine.
I know. Okay, so what's coming up for me and how to answer this in this moment is my ability to trust myself, to really fully, unapologetically, without question. And I think that before I learned that lesson, it speaks to a lot of who I used to be, seeking external validation, being a people pleaser, whether that was from family or my marriage or my career or friends' expectations of me. And life before learning how to trust myself meant that I played small. I dimmed my light. I always felt unhappy. I felt stuck. But the second I learned to trust, and part of that is really trusting my intuition, I think I was able to fully step into and embrace and really hear my voice. And at that moment, that's when everything shifted for me. And I started listening to it and started using it and making decisions from that place of power instead of leaning into the doubt or the fears. And as a result, I mean, since really leading with trust, I've been able to create a life for myself that is more expansive and joyful and purpose driven. And I lead with my heart. I lead from my soul's purpose, which is where trust resides, and what I hope I encourage others to do as well.
Again, it takes a lot of work and a lot of practice to do that, trusting and allowing, trusting in and feeling into that heart space and trusting yourself. It's not easy at all.
Yes.
If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
What does the word empowerment mean to you?
Oh, good word too. I would say the word empowerment for me ultimately means owning my truth. And that to me means that I live fully and unapologetically. I think when we live from a place of empowerment, we see that we are the creators of our reality. We do have that much power. You have the power to change what it is that you desire. If you are constantly in a mindset of lack, that is the world you are creating for yourself. If you want something else, you've got to shift your mindset to be in the place of what it is that you desire. And understand though that there is sort of like this balance required with the word empowerment, because it doesn't come with force, right? You can't be empowered. And I feel like there's a false sense of control that is sort of hidden in that word a little bit.
Yeah.
It's more about strength, right? Not control, but strength. And so when you are standing in your power, you are taking on this strength within yourself that you have everything in you. You don't need others. You don't need external validation, because within yourself that you're enough. So that's what I would say.
I love it. Again, it's tying into one of the common themes for the whole conversation is remembering that it's already there. It's just tapping into it and utilizing it to step into who you're truly here to be, who you're meant to be, your authenticity, all of it.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section. So the next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3 word answer type thing. Okay.
Oh, okay.
What is one of your favorite quotes?
Oh, I have two.
Okay.
Can I say two?
Sure.
Okay. So my first one, I'm going to butcher it, but it's Rachel Hollis, where she says something to the effect of like, other people's opinions are none of your business. And I used to let other people's opinions influence my life and my decision. And that's when you give your power away and you ultimately aren't living life for yourself. So I always live by that. Quote number one. Quote number two is from The Wizard of Oz, my favorite movie of all time. And I have it on a little plaque on my bookshelf. Yeah. And it's when Glinda tells Dorothy, "You've always had the power, my dear. You just had to learn it for yourself."
Again, tying into this theme throughout the whole conversation today. It's always there.
Yes.
What is one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
Oh my God. I mean, my human wants to answer that with time. Yeah, but time isn't real. Yeah, my human wants to say time, but I would also say that something you can't buy with money, that the other thing, like my soul is wanting to say, I mean, the theme of today, your intuition.
Yeah. Okay. If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
Oh, my 2 words of the year, you guys. Trust and surrender.
Which we've talked about throughout the whole conversation today. I love it. How would you describe yourself in one word?
Oh, one word? Oh, I think, I have 2 words, Brad. I would say authentic.
Okay. What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
My heart.
What is your favorite self-care practice?
Oh, there's so My sound bowls.
And that concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I created a bonus question that I did not send you ahead of time, so a little surprise for you.
Oh, no.
If other people could use 3 words to describe you, what would you want those 3 words to be?
Okay. So it's what I call my leadership contract.
Okay.
Bold, powerful, and authentic.
Love it. What is your why?
My why is to help women remember who they are.
If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
What's the legacy I want to leave behind?
Okay, go ahead.
It's like people remember the impact you had. And that's what I want people to remember me by. I want people to remember me as somebody who had an impact in other people's lives. Yeah, that's what I would want.
Okay. If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
Oh, Brad, that's a good one. Because there's so many people. I mean, listen, like I want to be Brene Brown's best friend. So I want to say her. I mean, there's like categories of people that I have answers for that question, but I'll say Brene because she is the queen of vulnerability. And I'm like obsessed with her, you guys. I love her. I've had the privilege of getting to see her speak here in Santa Monica, California years ago. And yeah, she's probably top of my list.
Okay.
Freaking love her. I do.
She is pretty powerful for sure.
Yeah.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Oh, I would tell her it's okay that you don't fit in. You are perfect as you are.
Love it. Lastly, Wendy, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your tribe, your corner of the world, your people, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you share?
I'm going to tap into my higher self to speak.
Okay.
My last 30 seconds, I would say this. I would say, you are the creator of your world, and you have the power within yourself to change your life, to change your narrative, and to shift your surroundings. Only you have the power to live a life that is in full alignment with your soul's purpose and truth. So stop living in fear, stop letting doubt take the wheel, and do not allow other people's opinions to dim your light. Trust your intuition, love yourself unapologetically and fiercely, and lead from love, lead from your heart, because that's where your power of authenticity lives. The world needs you. The world is waiting for you. So step into your power, stop playing small, and you are perfectly imperfect as you are.
Beautiful way to end the interview. Wendy, thank you so much for such an incredibly beautiful, powerful, inspirational, and vulnerable conversation. I want to thank you for your vulnerability today and for being here, for allowing me into the space to share in your story and your journey. You are a true beacon of hope, a beautiful light in this world. And I'm just so grateful to know you, to call you a friend, and to have had the opportunity to sit and chat with you and share in your story and journey and share it with the community. So thank you for being a guest today. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much, Brad. It's been my pleasure. I absolutely love and adore you. And
thank you.
Thank you for creating this place for me to go there. So thank you.
My honor and my pleasure. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Wendy Paige Sterling. She is an intuitive leadership mentor for visionary disruptors, a 2-time international bestselling author, a speaker, and a podcast host. Thanks so much, Wendy. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
You too. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at viseuphoria.ca, follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast, and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.